Hey guys, welcome back to our 10-part series. This is part 3 we're going to go over today. Sign up forms and landing pages, boost conversion rates, and enhance user experience so you can get your email list growing and thriving. Let's go over part 2. Part 2 is a very huge part of this series, how to grow your email list. That went over the offers. So if you haven't seen part 2, you got to check out part 2 because it has to do with part 3, which is the forms and landing pages. Part 2 is the offers. We go over offers, what works, what doesn't work for B2C, B2B, e-commerce, you name it. We deep dive into each kind of offer, what works, what won't work, what to measure, what channels, and more. Part 2, if you want to kind of keep up with part 3 as well, because part 3 is where we're going to send people. Part 2 is going to create an offer that's going to be amazing, how to create it, and then once we create that offer, what we're going to do with it. We're going to send it to a form, a landing page, or a unique destination that you'll see in this series, or this part of the series as well, where it's a landing page list experience, email capture experience too. So stay tuned for that. It's a really cool way to grow your list and get up and going and testing your offers very quickly. So we're going to go over how to create effective sign-up forms. Here's a few examples we're using currently. That's getting people to download an ebook. It's working great. Conversion rate is great. We're going to go over design best practices, ideal form length, and what fields, how many fields you should have, placement of these forms and fields, as well as incentives for signing up, how to get people to make that next commitment and actually push that button to give them your email address. So before we dive into landing pages, I want to be really clear about connecting your offer with your landing page. Before we dive into specifics of form and landing pages design, let's address a foundational aspect, the alignment of your offer with your landing page and form. The success of your landing page hinges on how well it aligns with the offer you're promoting. A mismatch in messaging or offer can lead to confusion and reduce conversion rates no matter how well designed your page or form is. Ensure that there's a clear and direct connection between your offering and how you present it. This cohesion is essential for creating a seamless experience for your visitors and maximizing your chances of conversion. When you're making that offer in part 2, you want to make sure it's aligned with where you're going to send them. Whether it's a page, a form, you want to make sure that aligns with the messaging, the look, the feel. Everything has to connect for maximum conversion rates. So here's a few examples of sign-up forms, what they could look like. Here's a few on-page, landing page type sign-up forms. You can see a pop-up over here. A style, very simple, really bold text in the offer. You can see what you're getting when you enter your email, 10% off. You can see Asana's sign-up form to try it for free. You can see the extra incentives if you start today. You can see here on this sign-up form in the middle, the multi-step process. So you know how many pieces of information, how many steps there are, which is very clear and helps the user know how many steps along the journey there are, so they're not kept in the dark. And here's more of a content-heavy sign-up form where it really goes heavy on the benefits before you actually enter the form. These are all different layouts and forms that you can test as you're creating your forms and landing pages. So let's go into some design best practices. An effective sign-up form is all about simplicity and user friendliness. Aim for a clean and cluttered look. That's easy on the eyes, easy to know where the submit button is. You know what information you're inputting. There's no distractions. You can see this example from ClickUp. Just a logo on the top left and a login button in the top right. So if you're signed in, you click right there. Nothing else, no other navigation. It's just the form, very simple. You enter your name, you enter your email, you pick a password, click play with ClickUp. You can see it's not just a submit button. There's a custom button, a submit button. That usually helps with conversion rates. It even has a sign in with Google feature, which is super handy. I do that all the time because it's easy for me to just log in seamlessly. It takes 2 seconds. There's a little help icon in case you get confused. They have the terms of service and privacy policy at the bottom, which I know legally they have to have. They also have some social proof with logos at the bottom and see why 1 million teams are more productive with ClickUp as well. So you can see here some more details of what we just went over. In case you missed it, you can download this category email list. You'll get all this information so you can refer back to it if you need to. We can see here simplicity, aesthetics, user convenience, good call to action, transparency, assistance available, all great elements of excellent sign up form. So let's go over optimizing form length and fields. We're going to go over short forms first. The number of forms that you have on a sign up can affect conversion rates pretty drastically. And depending on how big your ask is, will determine how many fields you should have in your form. So if it's just to subscribe to a newsletter, you should really only have email or maybe name and email address, and that's it. You want to keep it as minimal as possible. Too many fields can overwhelm visitors and decrease conversion rates. That's the advantage of short forms. They seem friendlier. They don't scare people away. Quicker to do on phones because you have less scrolling down. Make you think about what you really need to ask so there are no extras. And they don't take too long to finish so people won't give up halfway through. So you can see I mentioned the mobile experience, which is huge as you're driving people to these forms. A lot of the traffic's on mobile these days. And a long form can be really daunting on a phone. You can see here this specifically. Ideally on a phone, you want to keep the button in view if you can. If not, people are understanding, they'll scroll down a little bit. But if you can keep everything in a nice tight window where they can see the form as well as the fields that they're entering, it'll help with conversion rates and people actually following through and taking action. Next is long forms. So if you require a certain amount of information just to even talk to somebody, many industries require a lot of information when it comes to finance, investing, banking. They'll ask for name, address, zip code. They have to do a credit check. Sometimes they ask for social security number. Sometimes they have online signatures. Some forms can be really long because they're necessary to even qualify someone before even speaking to a representative. You can see here a quick little GIF of the multi-step form. This company in particular is doing name, address, city, state, zip, communication preference, and then each next step, you can see what it will be that you're going to be filling out. So that's really nice to have that timeline. And it's really helpful to break these long forms into multiple steps like this. It's really daunting when you see forms that are taking up all the page because it's just so long. When you have a few questions per step, you'll significantly increase your submission rates. This is a long multi-step form special tip. So you could see in the previous example, there was multiple steps in the form and they asked for your contact information pretty early. I believe it's on the first step. And this little trick, you could do this on the second or third step. It just won't be the last step. So you start the form by asking a few questions, start collecting a few answers with key information that you want to know. Then you'll ask for name, email, phone. And then basically if it's that second, third step, not the last step, and they enter their phone number and then they click next, you want to submit that form without the user knowing. You're just submitting the information to your CRM. A sales rep could potentially follow up or have the time to follow up with them while they're still on the form or on your website in general. And that connection rate can have a really quick and effective response on the lead you're following up with. They're still on your website. You help them answer any questions that they have when they're on the website already. The brand name's fresh in their head. You know they're asking for help right now. So you're able to kind of give them that real-time assistance because that connection is so quick and so fast. It's a huge hack when it comes to speed to lead, and it gives you a little more cushion and time to get a hold of that lead while your brand is still fresh in their mind. The minimal text fields and progress bar can alleviate anxiety about the length and the tasks and prevent drop-offs. You can see on the example previously had little icons. This one from Athletic Greens has a quiz, and you see the progress bar at the top. They do ask a lot of questions. What they do as well is they make the interface super clean where all you have to do is click these buttons. There's no entering text until the end where you enter your email address or name or some information, but everything else is just clicking buttons, which is a super quick way to take these multi-step forms and get through them. Another thing you do is add conditional logic. Creates an illusion that your form is shorter by showing or hiding questions based on previous responses. For example, if you're asking for marital status and there's no reason to ask for spouse if the person enters single. But if they click the drop down married and you have to know the spouse name, it'll only show the spouse name or ask for the spouse name if they select married. So you're going to save on a few fields just based off of that. And you could think of other questions that may come in handy as well. If you live in a single family home versus an apartment building, you'd have certain answers. Same thing. So there's going to be some answers and some questions that will be asked based on what they enter in previous questions. So the form may only seem like 3 or 4 questions, but based on their answers, a few more might pop up, and it won't seem as daunting as a task to fill out because they only show after you enter a certain information. Now let's go over where you should put these forms. Placement is key. Your former call to action needs to be where it's most likely to get noticed. So if you're using pop-ups or little slide-ins or windows or placements in your footer, or maybe it's a section on the web page or landing page. Is it in the header? Is it in the footer, in the content? Ideally, you want it above the fold. So there's some call to action, whether it's a button or a form, that someone can click and take the next step. You want to be sure that's right when they load the website. Especially on mobile, there's going to be only so much room. You want to be sure some sort of button is there to get a resource, get a strategy, request a quote, buy now. You want to be sure something's there to click for the person to take that next step. Again, I mentioned inline, pop-ups, slide-ins, headers, footers. There's all examples right here. You can see how they've used it in the past. You see this one's a footer, this one's a pop-up, a whole screen takeover. This is a slide-in. This is a slide. Oh, this is a pop-up. This is a slide-in. There's a lot of tools that make this easier, like Klaviyo, HubSpot, Often Monster, and more, where you easily make these really quickly and start capturing email addresses really quick, really fast. Let's talk about boosting conversions with incentives. So now you have your form, you have some fields made. How can you actually make people take that next step? An attractive incentive can significantly boost sign-up rates. Remind them what they get when they fill out the form Remind them what they get when they fill that form out to reinforce their decision. Whether it's a giveaway, free ebook, a discount, or exclusive content, ensure your lead magnet adds real value. You can see here is a Black Friday deal. Has the multiple different incentives that you get just for entering. Discounts, free prizes, Mac Pro giveaway, limited quantities available. Don't miss out. So it not only has the incentives and what you get, but it also talks about the scarcity. And there's only so many entries available. And I showed this example earlier for Asana, where it has that little checklist of things you get when you sign up. So unlimited tasks, unlimited storage, list, board, calendar views, push much more. So it just gives you that extra assurance of why to sign up, because that list or those incentives are right next to that submit button. This is a little thing I brought up earlier about not needing a landing page or a form on a website to capture emails. This specifically ad platforms have provided forms built into them so that you don't have to create a form. It's already all built in. You ask some questions, then they stay within the app and they fill out the form. You can see right here on the left, the one example from Meta, they click the button and they fill the form out, and the information is pre-populated based on their profile. So all I have to do is click a few buttons and you capture the information. Super quick, super easy. There's also conversational bots where you click a post or an ad, or you comment on a post, and it triggers an automated conversation flow through the app. It can ask you questions. It can book appointments. It can capture email addresses. You can send it links to another location, all automated through some applications we'll go over in a little bit. And you can also just do this manually so you can play with it and figure out how you want to automate it down the road. And the last thing is email engagement. Using databases to email, and based on those interactions, you can convert those people into leads and add them to your CRM and continue to email them and nurture them in your marketing funnel. harnessing the built-in forms in the ad platforms. Meta, Google, TikTok, and LinkedIn offer this, or maybe some other ones, but if you know how to use these, you'll pretty much know how to use them all. You can see some animations here for Meta, Google, TikTok, how they work. A lot of them work pretty similar where you just click a few buttons, it automatically adds information. Some platforms will have more information about the user. So for example, TikTok and Meta will have a lot of personal information, name, email, zip code, address, state. And LinkedIn will have a lot of B2B info, job title, company size, company they work with, company revenue. Depending on who you're trying to target, can dictate which platforms you want to send people to these in-platform forms. Some of the advantages: removes friction, makes it super easy, uses platform data to pre-populate fields for quick fill out, and also integrates with several CRM tools automatically. There are a lot of complaints about some of the lead quality not being that great on some of these platforms, but a lot of it has to do with your targeting. So using data for your targeting will help solve that issue. And also another thing is these platforms are doing a lot of two-factor authentication, making you enter your accurate cell phone number, your email to verify your identity because there's a lot of fraud. So the data is getting more and more accurate as well on these platforms when they submit it. How you can use these conversational bots. One of the main tools for this is a platform like Facebook Messenger, and provides a dynamic way to engage with potential leads. These chatbots can simulate a real conversation, offering personalized interactions, and they can also capture lead information in a more engaging manner than traditional forms. So you can see here in this demo on the phone how you can book an appointment, all automated through a conversational bot. And you can see another example on the right here, how it pre-populates the email address. So when you're asking for someone's email, this is already pre-populated in the platform, and all they have to do is click that, and it'll submit that email address to you and in your bot. You can also do that with phone number and any other information that's stored on the platform. A little more detail provided by MobileMonkey, which is an app that can help you create these automations. Specifically, this slide is about Instagram. You can do Instagram story mention automation, instant replies when mentioned in a story. It can add a link to Instagram stories, 100% Instagram approved, and an instant engagement tool. It can create an Instagram comment autoresponder, so it can instantly reply to comments on posts, increase engagement and visibility on posts. Again, approved by Instagram. And Instagram DM welcome message can instantly reply to any direct messages, turn direct messages into new leads. And a lot of these are based off of keyword triggers, and I'll show you a use case on the next slide. But if you have any more interest in MobileMonkey, click this link below. See how it works. Usually these platforms are free to a certain extent, or they're super cheap, like $10 a month, $5 a month sometimes, just to get some of these features. Very affordable and cheap to use and integrate. So here's an example how a DM automation can work. So this person on Instagram created this video post, and then in the post, they say comment launch to learn more about this free bonus to make writing sales copy easier than ever. Talks about all the benefits, comment launch again. So if you comment launch on the actual post, it will automatically send you this message as well as this link to get this launch plan. This person is just sending you to a landing page to sign up for a webinar, but you could also use it to automatically ask for email addresses and phone numbers. A really cool way to not only grow your email list, but having people comment on the posts will help grow that post reach organically, because Instagram will see it as a really engaging post and people are liking it. So it'll send it to more people for free. The last Pageless email capture methodology is unique to Giant Partners because we are a data company at heart, and we also do cold email on behalf of our clients. So you can actually take emails, at least first you take a database. So here's a database right here, just an example of what this would look like, of first names, email addresses of my target audience, whoever that is. So we're going to take this database, we're going to send them an email, and then based off of opens, clicks, and replies, we're going to send them to our CRM. We're going to send it based on what the action is. We may add them to our email newsletter list, or we may add them to an opportunity or maybe a deal because they reply that they're interested in or wanted to buy the product. Depending on what that action is, we may send them on to different lists in the CRM and segment them based on the level of engagement and craft messages based on that engagement. So if they replied and they're really interested, those people would fall into a certain bucket versus someone who maybe just opened an email. So this will turn routine email interactions into valuable opportunities for lead generation. Here's a link if you want. If you get this PDF and download it, there's a link to how we can help companies do this on your behalf. This is really tricky to do on your own because you can fall into spam traps if you don't know what you're doing. You can also get your domain blacklisted by just cold emailing and spamming a bunch of people. We have a ton of up-to-date data as well as warmed up email addresses that we send from on behalf of our clients. So once we have our offers and we have our landing pages, our forms, our Pageless destinations, we want to just test things. We want to test form length, headlines, call to action buttons, images, page layout, copy length, testimonials, colors, fonts, pricing structure, landing page elements, and more. There's so many things you can test. One of the things that you probably should test from the very beginning is form length. You should probably start short and then add fields as you go. This will give you a really good idea if your offer is even working or worth it. If you can't get someone to enter their email address and that's it for your offer, then you have a problem. You probably have an offer problem. A lot of these problems as conversions usually stem from the offer or a disconnect between the offer and the page. You really want that to be really enticing to get someone to fill out the form. And then again, this is similar to the offer part, but there's all this data that you can get, like conversion rate data, time on page, bounce rates. You want to be sure to set up goals and these lead events or these sign up events as trackable data so you can see what's working and what's not working. And then from there, make data-driven decisions. You want to see what's working, what's not, turn things off, spend more money on the thing that's working and scale your efforts and grow your business. Another tool mentioned in the past, it's completely free screen recording heat mapping tool from Microsoft called Clarity. Just go to clarity.microsoft.com. You'll get all this for free. You can sign up for it. It's free forever. You can see here, they have heat mapping, they have session recordings. So you can see exactly where people are going, what they're missing, what they're skipping. Are they scrolling past everything? Do they not see what you're trying to offer? Are they just missing your form, starting your form halfway and then leaving? You can see all that using this tool and then make decisions off of that. So that wraps it up for today. That's pretty much the multiple ways you can capture emails, phone numbers, and any data on your customers using these forms, landing pages, as well as Pageless destinations like conversational bots, built-in forms, as well as email engagement. We talked about designing for conversion, crafting those captivating pages, no landing pages, no problem, embracing A/B testing, and leveraging analytics. So that wraps it up for part 3. Stay tuned for part 4, where we go over growth through content, leveraging content marketing to grow your list. So be sure to subscribe to be notified for that next part when that's live, as well as if you have any questions, be sure to comment and like this video if you want to see more of this content, and we'll see you next time.